Okay, I am doing a recording of this first devlog for making my game because I went to go live stream it, and apparently because I just made the channel like a couple days ago and I forgot to press the I want to do live streaming thing, I can't do it for like another day. So anyway. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, I'm just going to start recording and or live streaming devlogs when I work on things on my second channel, because honestly I get overwhelmed and distracted when I don't have stuff going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my big ass bright LED light, and I'm going to put the nice chill music on, which I just realized is not actually in the background. A second. Alright, I think that's perfect. So yeah, I'm going to have to do this one on the recording side of things because, yeah. I literally can't live stream to my non-gaming channel right now, so yay. Anyway, I need... Right there, not a video. I load the background music up in a private session because I changed the volume and stuff, and then I get annoyed when I go back to use like actual YouTube and it's not set up. Alright, so I got completely overwhelmed with building this last time, so I just needed a fresh start. It's something that happens frequently. I am getting stuff dealt with, but one of the things I was told to do when doing large project in this, the thing I was taking for mental health stuff and whatnot, they said, you know, just like the person said, do devlogs and stuff like this. Just I find it helps with gaming, so might as well do it for this. Anyway, I need to pull up my old repos because I'm going to be copying a bunch of stuff that I did. Like, okay, so I literally just have a blank solution file here, and if I pull up the GitHub for this, so I was doing stuff before, like trying to put each like bit of the code into a submodule. That way, you know, people could take it off and use it. What I'm just going to do instead is I'm just going to keep everything in the one main repo, because managing like 5 repositories for one project, I'm gonna have to manage 2 because I can't redistribute the assets, so I'll have to deal with that on the. But like the networking library, the base engine, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have all this on this, and then I will copy the. I will figure out how to like put those on a separate thing for like stuff. So like if someone's using my engine core code, I will just have it all in this main repo, and then I'll update that separately. Like I'll literally just copy it, paste it, and then, you know, maybe do a reference to the thing. Anyway, yeah, I have literally just made a solution file, so let us get started on building this from scratch. So what I'm doing here is I'm building a game. I am not using an engine. I have not decided. I would like to for it to be multiplayer, but what I've decided is I'm going to probably try to do single player for now, and then as we get the core developed, we'll worry about servers and networking and fun. What I can do is I can single player network it, so it'll be one application. We just run the client and the server in the same program. My face is bugging me while I talk. So yeah, I am going to be doing the following. I'm going to be focusing mainly on the solid design principles and composition, and we'll have an ECS as well. We'll be doing this with monogame as like the core framework, and then I will be building DI into that, and eventually stuff. So I will be doing other projects, encoding devlogs for other projects that I will be using like Unity, Godot, and all these other fun things for, but this is my custom thing I wanted to do. I like doing these. Keeps my skills sharp versus just, you know, GD scripting or Unity scripting. I refuse to call C-sharping and Unity actual C-sharping because it's literally freaking scripted in C-sharp. Yes, you can do more with it, but eh. So yeah, server authoritative game is the goal. Little top-down 2D role-playing game. With some complex systems eventually, but for now we just want to get started. So yeah, we're going to be doing mono game. We're going to be doing... I will be using TLS for secure sockets, like when we have multiplayer. The accounts will log in over TLS, and then the server will go, hey, yeah, you logged in. Here's a TCP socket key. Or not a TCP socket, a UDP socket key, and then we can spin up late night for that. But before we get started with any of that mess, we have to start the program. So anyway, I'm going to create a new solution folder. Call it applications. And we are going to add a new mono game project as soon as it loads. So yeah, this first devlog is going to be off stream. I will stream in the future once my channel is able to do that. Anyway, we're going to make a mono game project. No, we don't want to do... I will be doing Android support for this too, but we're going to be primarily developing desktop support and then server and then Android. Because I'm doing this with DI and Solid as a composition as a key focus, swapping components out should not be hard. So like for input, I would just take in the Android project, I would just not inject the keyboard and mouse input on Android for obvious reasons. So anyway, let me create a Windows game desktop. No, I don't want DirectX, I want OpenGL. Cross-platform. Yes, I want it OpenGL because I'd like to design GL. Like, these two platforms, I want to have stuff. If I make something with DirectX... let me just do that. Did I spell that correctly? Yes. Okay, so I put that there. So I want to have these the same. DirectX could be faster. If you guys want to build a DirectX wrapper, this thing is open source. And it's, again, it's dependency injection based. Just swap it over, switch the dependencies. You're good. Okay. Anyway, we're going to save that real quick, and then I'm going to create a new solution folder. We're going to go add new folder. Call that source, and then under this, we're going to go add new project. We're going to make a shared code project. It's actually right here in my list. We're going to make a shared project. Actually, I want to make that a shared mono game. Actually, yeah, I want to make that a mono game. Shared project. Mono game library. Shared library project. Yeah, we'll do this. And we're going to do client assets source. I'm not going to call that client, actually. I'm going to call that game. Because the server is going to need the metadata assets. It's not going to need, like, the actual graphics, but it's going to need, like, the metadata. So, like, this box here, if this was an entity, it's going to need to know how big this is. So if this entity starts moving, and say this over here, the toolbox is a wall, it knows to, like, don't let it go past the wall. So, I missed my right-click return to default position from Final Fantasy. So yeah, I'm going to call it this, and then... Yeah, I put that in the right folder, right? Yes, okay. Okay, so we're actually going to get rid of that. What we just want is the content file. I'm going to save that. I'm going to delete the content file from that. And then we're going to link that to that. We have our content.mdcp there. We'll have different MDCBs, and I'm going to have a thing to set it up in a second, but yeah, we're going to do that. And with that, I'm going to just build this and hope it builds before we start screwing with anything. Just build it. I'm going to be setting up the solution files first. Huzzah! So because this namespace, we're gonna have problems with this names, the Reoria game namespace. We're gonna have problems here that I'm going to address when I get to it, but when we have actual code. But for now, we just have that. So okay, that built. So if I run it, if I run this, we should be good. I might need to step it for a second. So yeah, I do want to live stream these, but again, I'm saying it again just in case people are joining in late. Talking like I'm live streaming right now. Yay, we have cornflower blue. You guys can't see this, but we have. Well, let me add a display capture. I just pop this into existence, and I'll shut it off when I'm done. Yes, we just have a nice little cornflower blue little window. Okay. Now let's make this fun. Let's get to the fun part. Setting up the project files, which is easier said than done. I have my old. I don't delete code off GitHub. If you see repositories disappear off my GitHub, it's because I moved them to my. I have an organization that I use to archive all my past projects and stuff, which you can kind of see the loop I get into on it. But yeah. Anyway, let us get into the CStart project file because I want to set this up. Because this is not what I want. What I want is okay, so let me just do this. Let's get rid of this. This will come back in a second. Also, we want to target .NET 9.0. And then I want those. And then the solution directory, I want to change that. And then just set up metadata. I don't copy the user secrets. We're going to set up monogame.extended too in this, so I'm just going to do that. I'll do that after, but pop that in. So that should be that. Let's change that to 2025. Okay, so just to check all this. It should all still be fine. Okay. Again, we don't want the user secrets. First of all, don't want to. It doesn't matter if you see that anyway, because yeah. No, we don't want to. Do not reuse user secret UIDs, please. Okay, let me just pop down here. Okay, so now we want to set up the build groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. So with this build order here. By the way, we're not doing a lot of coding. We're doing a lot of project setup today. So sorry, but we're definitely going to get to the DI container. Like we're not actually getting to game systems and stuff today. Sorry. Anyway, so what this is doing here, this is a little trick I've discovered when I'm building any anything that has a window. It's going to want to rebuild because I just did, yeah. So I'm going to define my constants here. So we want the platforms for the project, with debug or release, and then always want the trace constant. Anyway, you now see I have a console window. I have a console window that is doing nothing but popping up this. So this little trick I have is if you do your property groups for condition debug, if you notice I got rid of output type up here and I defined it down here. So when we're in debug, it'll generate a general exe which has a console window, because this is the output type for like a console application, which gives a constant window. When we build for release, like say we're in debug, we're testing, we want a console window. When we're in release, we don't want the console window. So yes, no, maybe, we'll see. Probably should have another way to re-enable that later. Add that into the game engine. As you can see, if I switch to release, we no longer have a console window. So little trick here. You can just do a property group configuration debug like this here. Also, I'm going to zoom this in. I just realized I didn't zoom it in. Sorry for that. Yeah, if you do this and then output type exe and then on release or whatever your configurations are named, like I'm just using the defaults, but yeah, that's how you set that up. Okay, anyway, and I want to include on this, I want to include the license and the README for the Git, like for this stuff here, README and the license thing. And then with this, I'm just going to organize this a little better from what I have on my old repo. We're going to put that there. So, what this does is if we are building for a platform named x64 or any CPU, we're going to define x64. If you're using x86, please download the x86 thing. I literally have a thing here for it. If you download the generic build, like what I used to do is I used to have it this way around. I don't know what Sorry, hang on, let me fix my mess. I used to have it this way around, but now that x86 is the default, yeah, when x86 was the default, that's what I used to do. But now that x64 is the default, I just set it for this. So I just leave it like that because unless I specifically target x86, I don't want to build for x86. Alright, and then we're just going to go down here. And then we'll just this here, I will just copy paste over it. What did I do? Group and then remove. Oh, there was an extra item group there. Okay, so this is just the icon. This is the app manifest and icon. And then here is the big one. This is how we are going to get all of our MGCB files into the program. We're going to come down here. We're going to put this little bit of code in here that I have. So I need to change these paths, obviously, because I'm not doing client. That's the old code. I'm doing game.assets. So if we come down here, and switch to game, and then game, if I do that, and it's currently showing content, so I actually need to switch this to. I will be switching it to assets in a second, but let me just switch it to content real quick. If we just do this, if there were actual content files, it would do that. So yeah, this line right here specifically will let us build all the MGCBs without linking them directly. So I don't actually need to link any of the MGCB files. Let me just make sure this is right. Game assets. So it's not actually going to do anything in the Solution Explorer. This is literally how we just get MonoGame to build. So I'm actually going to get rid of this. Hit save. And now if I go here, yeah, this will be garbage. But if I make a new folder... Actually, I don't even think I need a shared project. No, I just literally needed that folder created. Let me get rid of that. And then we can get rid of that. And we make a new folder called Assets. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm in the File Explorer, not this. Anyway, if I... So yeah, now if I do... Well, if I pull up a PowerShell, I will finish with this in a second. I think it's just references. Yeah, I think the rest of it is just references. Okay, so now if I do MGCB editor Windows. Why does my MGCB editor not run? I I'm missing the file. Hang on, I know the problem is. Let me close that console. Okay, let me just check the rest of the C# project. Okay, project references, we don't have any of those yet. And the last thing, okay, references, project references, and then yeah. Okay, so that is our C# file set up. Let me just build this, and then while that is building, I am going to go and download my GitHub. I am going to go and get... Yeah, I'm going to go and get the .config folder. Okay, let me new folder, .config. And then we're going to download this .NET tools. Hang on, let me just screen this. Let me file, new, file. Just going to be a text document. And I'm going to save this. Config as that. Save. I should switch to JSON. Okay, so now that we have this, if I reload. Do I need to reload the solution? I'm gonna rebuild it anyway, but okay, now it should work. Oh, yeah, it's because it doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, the editor popped up, so important step there. I might make a gist of that for later, but I need to update the versions on this. We'll do that in a second. But yeah, as you can see, we have our MGCB editor. So now, if I was to just come here, and I'm going to hide my display for a sec. Where am I going? I'm going to resources, game design. Fantasy. Where is the thing I'm looking for? That one. Okay, so I'm not going to include the whole thing right now because I don't want to include this in the main repo. I need to actually move. I actually need to move the game.assets thing to its own thing. Its own submodule, but I'll just do it in this right now, and then before I commit it, I'll put it in its own thing. Let me make sheets. Just grab character 1. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to create a junk MGCB file for now. So let's just add. Okay, so let me just do this real quick. Okay, we're just going to do new MGCB file. Let's go to projects, that one, and we'll just dump it in here for now. Test content. This is not real content. Now we're going to add existing item. Just going to add that to it and make sure it's set up to texture process. Cool. Okay, that, it just popped up there. You can see it just popped up there. So if we close that, I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going too far into that because I'm going to need to restructure this anyway. I just need to get a graphic loaded so we can get a graphic loaded. Okay, so now if I was to pop into the game.cs on load content, this is going to scream. My IDE is set up a very specific way. This is going to scream at me. We're going to ignore all these for now. Anyway, we're going to do... this entire class is going to be... Okay, we're going to do private texture 2D, character texture. I hate writing code like this. Oh, there's a reason why this is screaming. This content load texture to 2D. I'm going to do Kara 1. Let's go Kara 1, right? Yes. Okay, hang on, let me flip this back so it's okay. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna load texture character Kara 1, and this is going to be assets. So anything in the assets folder, we can have multiple MGCB files too, and I'll prove this in a second. I'll add, actually, you know what? Nah, we're good. Just trust me, it works. I don't want to mess with it right now because I need to set up the whole thing again, and I don't want to do, like, I need to set up the client assets, like the assets repository. So I've just changed that to assets. We want to load in Kara 1, and then on load content also, I'm going to do private rectangle character rectangle. I hate when people spell rect, by the way. Like, we used to have srect, drect, hrect, v. Ugh. I coded in VB6 when we were doing, like, when we were limited by the constraints. Rectangle. It's 4 extra characters. And if your variable name is that long already, that even in VB6 that's causing problems, you need to know. Okay, anyway, now that we've loaded the texture, let's just do this. So let's do var character number 0. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Vector 2 character equals new. Vector 2. Yeah, that's going to scream. Anyway, let's load character at 0, 0. And then we're going to want rectangle character size. Size. Again, this math, I'm just doing this for testing. This is getting deleted at some point. New rectangle, and then we're gonna do 0, 0. Character 2. Let's say this is character. This needs to be just vector 2. I forgot. Okay. Anyway, so how this works is we're going to do underscore character texture. Width, and I know there's 4 characters per sheet, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do height, and I know there's 2 characters on the vertical. So because the asset pack I use is made for RPG Maker, the person just compiles them that way, even with the 16-bit ones. So I know there's 4 characters, 2 characters, because they do 8 characters per sheet. So when this will be in a sec. But anyway, let's do rectangle. I'm just gonna do a rectangle. Actually, no, we're gonna do underscore character. Why am I not getting code sense? Because there's a thing there. Let's do character rectangles new, and then we're going to do character x times character character sheet size dot x character y times that y, and then this is okay. I need to do 2 rectangles actually, so hang on, let me just do var. Yeah, hang on. Let's do rectangle character sheet. Okay, and then we're going to do, let's do x and y. So once we grab this rectangle here, again, this will be better. Why is this screen again? because this one's full. Okay, hang on. Let me just convert all these. Just put this on multiple ones so I can read it. Also because it's a lot easier to just do this. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, are you happy now? Yes. Okay. I don't know why vectors are floats and rectangles are. Anyway, figure that out later. Anyway, so we want to do character rectangle equals new rectangle, and then character sheet dot x, and then hang on, stop it. Okay, so y with, okay, and then divided by 3 frames, and then there's 4 frames because there's 4 directions. So that should work. I'm going to need to fix this in a second. Let me just make another vector 2 real quick. Vector 2 frame size equals new. And then actually, let's just reuse this. Let's bring this up here. I'm gonna have to convert this back to an int, though, so that's the only downside to doing this. Okay, boop, boop, boop. And then we want to convert to int 32, character frame size x. Y. Okay, and then I want to do, because I know the middle frame, is the, like, not the idle animation because of how the spreadsheet works, so we're gonna do that there. Okay, so that mess should load it in, and then on draw we're going to do sprite. Do I not have a sprite batch? Yeah, okay, it's on the sprite. Begin. We'll set that up later. And then we'll just draw the character at 0, 0. So no, hang on. Draw character texture. Oh, for frick me. Hang on, let me also, in the loading thing, let me define. Actually, no, I don't want to define this. Okay, so we need to get the screen size. And then I need the source. Where do we put the source? Oh, source here. Okay, so this character rectangle and color dot light. Okay, so this rectangle here needs to be generated. We'll do that every frame just because. So let's do rectangle equals new, and then okay, so we'll just do that, and then if it'll stop screaming at me for 2 seconds. Okay, let's just do 0, 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to do. I don't want the code sense. Hang on, let me try the graphics device maybe. I'm trying to figure out how to remember it again. this window. Yeah, and then we just literally switch with the height. Okay, so this should draw a character in the middle of the screen. Again, we'll have better camera control and stuff in a sec. I just want to get a character rendered into the screen. If I did this all correctly, I'm just doing initial project setup, which is getting the MGCB content to build is part of doing that, so. That clearly did not work. Why did that not work? Why are we not hitting breakpoints either? Yeah, let me reload. I might need to reload. I have run into that problem before where it doesn't want to behave. Okay, let me get rid of the bin folder. Those. Because I didn't even... Yeah, see, the problem is you're supposed to build that when it doesn't exist. Because there's no way that is up to date. Okay. Okay, that actually went that time, so that's good. The release thing is not there. Yeah, because I deleted it because you're supposed to rebuild it. Okay, why is this not loading? We have breakpoints. Yes, we do. Okay, is this loaded? Yes. Okay. Okay, that should not be 26 by 36, I don't think. I did my maths wrong up here. Okay, well I know what the problem is now at least. Let me just try and reload this real quick. I don't even really need, I just want to get basic rendering to it. 312, okay, so character sheet size should be, yeah, 312, 206, 78, no. 312 divided by 2 is 156.78, okay, yeah, okay, so that's correct. So character sheet should be, yeah, so we're selecting character 1, which is 0, 0. So that is correct. And then the frame size should be 26 by 36. Is that actually correct? Let me open this in Paint real quick. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so when that is done, that should be 2636, and then 26 0 and then 26 36. Okay, so we're getting the correct thing. Why are we not? Oh, because I'm not drawing properly. I didn't change I made the rectangle and then I didn't plug it in. Always the simple solution. There it is. Okay, yay. So we have that. So now if I was to... I have to relaunch the game when doing this, but if I was to select a different character on that sheet now... Again, I'll need to set up an atlasing system for this, so it knows where character 1 is, and we want to get the size, so we'd want to store the size of that character somewhere. So on the server, it knows if characters are bumping into each other and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, just switch there. Perfect. That also means the MGCD thing is building. You can see it there, but that means it's building. Yay. So before I commit this, so that means that is good. Real quick, I'm going to go to Manage Nougat Solutions. Or Nougats for the solution, whatever. I'm going to go to Updates, and I'm going to update the shit out of these. And then I'm going to update my MGCB editor tools thing that I just closed because I'm a genius. I'm going to update things. So let's close the thing I need to update. Let me just pull this back in. I'm going to add this to the solution in a second, but let me just... Okay, we got transitive pet. I hate transitive. Okay, now these are just being pulled in by other things. My friend has a project set up, and every time I try to add a package, it's like, oh no, you need to find that glove. It's like, no, what is to find that glove? It's, I don't know. Weird baby. Ugh. Anyway, what am I doing? I'm going here and I'm copying the version number from Monogame. Where is it? This. We're going to copy this and we're going to replace all of these in this file. H that, paste that, click it. We're going to test it to make sure it works. Alright, we updated it, so we need to update .NET. Yeah, that is good to go. I just need to get the assets submodule set up. So I'm going to go to my GitHub and do that. Well, .NET is conniption fit. Why did I make the repository already on my profile? I know I have a repository for this made. I did not make the assets. Okay, we need to make that. Repository. Do that, it needs to be private, add a readme file. Studio, git ignore. Just do that, it doesn't really matter. None of that really matters, it's just a matter of, like, it will matter, because I will be doing that in a second, but what we're doing today doesn't matter. Okay, anyway. Okay, so now, can I MGCB editor Windows? It's probably going to be cranky, but yes. You failed to open a non-existent project. Thank you. Go away. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that real quick. Oh, for fix. I need to close that real quick. Yeah, I need to close Visual Studio. Because, yeah, it was holding that open. Okay, so it was holding file handle open. Anyway, I need a command prompt. Add one source. Okay, so we're flown into that, so it's its own subrepo. Perfect. Okay, so we have our MGCB thing. So I wanted that set up as its own repository because I'm not allowed to, like, the license I have for these assets I get off the Patreon from Final Blast Police and stuff, I can use them in my project and, you know, yeah, but I can't just, for me. Hold up. Alright, you guys can't see. One sec, let me get Visual Studio back. Okay, so real quick, I'll just show here. I want to go game design. Time Fantasy, yeah, so the Time Fantasy graphics, I can't just copy paste them into a public GitHub repo, so I put them in this anyway. Let me just reclone. Hang on, before I do anything, let me just do the setup on GitHub before I clone it again. I didn't set up the repository 100% correctly, which is why I needed to delete the copy on my computer and prepare for a reclone. Close, get rid of that. Okay, that should be good. We don't need all this language codes and stuff. Okay, that's fine. Okay, close that. Clone that again. Okay, we're good. Okay, so now if I come in here, we have our repo. Nice. So we want to create a new folder. Assets. And actually, I don't want it that. I want it to be lowercase because, yeah. So I'm gonna have some stuff, but like code is. I'm gonna be mixing cases. It's just it'll be nice because then when I copy this into Godot, I can literally, if I use this again in Godot, I can just copy this. Anyway, hang on, let me make a new folder. So I'm going to do assets, graphics, and then let's do add folder, characters. And then I'm going to create a new folder, Time Fantasy, go, and then if I find it here, Time Fantasy characters, sheets, and we're just going to copy those there. I'm not going to split or do any processing with these for now. I might do that later, but yeah, these are the sheets. And now what we do here is in Visual Studio, pull up the windows, yes. pull up the Windows thing. Let's add new things. Let's do time spell. I have a headache. Turn that light off. It was thunderstorming earlier. I'm gonna do it this way. So time. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, the MD's, I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so we're gonna go add existing folder. That one, select folder. No. No, that is not what I wanted. I'm pretty sure that's not what I wanted. No, that is definitely not what I wanted. Okay, hold up. Wait. No. Hang on, let me delete these, and then also real quick, let me make sure this is not borked. No, it's empty. Cool. Perfect. Get out of here. Okay, so let's actually do this. Let's do add folder graphics. Graphics, characters, add folder, time, fantasy. It's because the stuff in here, if we noticed, it's lowercase, it's camo case, so I'm just gonna camo case this in. Anyway, let's just camo case these in. Okay, so now we do add existing folder. Try this again. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, whatever. It's just being stupid. Okay. Okay, so now we just load that in. I'm going to test to make sure that works, so I need to get up my game.cs. Before I go too far, I'm just going to make sure that works. So we are not just Kara 1, we are graphics, characters, time, fantasy, Kara 1. Okay, so if I run this now, it's going to take a minute to build because that MGCB file is bigger. It's got more stuff to build, so yay. So that my little code I showed earlier does work because yeah, that shows that it did work. And then we're gonna have blank console window. Okay, character 1 loaded, and then if I rebuild the game, let's pull a character from Kara 5. So the way I have this MGBC, this project thing set up for the content files, we're not putting everything in one file. I'm making one MGCB file per asset pack I use. That way, so yeah, see, we just changed the color. Okay. So I'm doing it this way, so that way I can like have better managed, like scalable things. So like this here is related to these, or this zip file. So if I go back here now, okay, let me just do on this, let me just add time. Okay, let me just add that commit, because what I want to do to test the MGCB thing to show how it works is I want to actually do it up front. So I'm going to load another don't really want much right now. Yeah, so I need to go through these because, yeah, some of these have different things I want. Get the Beast Tribes one. Oh, these are individual battlers. Okay, that's not gonna work. So I said I need to go through these and process them later. I just want to get some basic shenanigans working. Yeah, see, like some of these sheets aren't. Like I said, I need to go through these and process them properly. Just get them on, put it in its own repo. There, like this one has the sheets. Okay, so this one has the sheets. So we can go new folder, time, fantasy. I will be figuring this. I will be working on these later. I just want to get some content going. Okay, so we just put those there, and then we want a new MGCB file, and we want it in the assets folder. And then we want to call this animals. And then we want to add folder, graphics, add folder, characters. Anyway, I want to try something real quick. Let me get rid of that. If I do add existing folder, graphics, characters, time, fantasy, animals, select. I didn't do that for the other. I don't know, I don't care. Okay, so to show how this works now, I'm just going to close that because we're done with it. So if I get rid of this for a sec, if I switch this to time, fantasy, animals, and we do animal 1, what was it called? I'm done with assets for now. Animals. Okay, let me just do this here. Animals 1, and then just make sure that folder is correct. Animals, let me just copy paste it, just to make sure the spelling is the same. Okay, it is. So, you see here under assets, we have two different things. Now, as long as we have this folder structure shared between our asset packs, as long as all of our assets are in here, we can split this up into different folders, and then we can have each MVC. So, like, if I screw with this, like, say I just straight up delete this, I don't have to delete. I don't have to come into the Time Fantasy Characters thing and edit a bunch of things. I can just delete the animals pack. So, I like to split my MGCB files like that for maintainability reasons. But anyway, just prove my point of why this system is good. Android's going to need a little bit of work, but Android is Android. That's why I'm not bothering with it right away. As you can see, I didn't have to change. We can build multiple MGCB files into the program. So like these are both loaded into the thing. Like if we look in the bin folder here, desktop GL, it builds them individually, like on its own. But if I go back to base folder, if I go to the bin folder here and we go to desktop, we go to debug. If I go into the assets folder, you can see it's got both here. So as long as we keep the folder structure the same between our assets packs, mostly relatively, we can just have them all build like this, which is why I enjoy setting up the project the way I did. Okay. So yeah, that's the project setup done. So now I can get rid of that nonsense. Let me just do feet. Animals. I am losing the ability to spell, which means I need to go get some water in a sec. Okay, so that's done, and then we're just gonna go. What did we change? You know what? I'll just download that. I'll look at it in between. I need to go do some like. I need to go some like actual physical. I need a break, and I need to go get water, and I need to go do stuff. Okay. Let's get this done. Okay, so yeah, the assets are in a private sub repo. You guys can't download this, unfortunately. I'm not allowed to redistribute these. I can give access to this repo for my team members, but I can, yeah, because of the way the game works, you can literally just make this anything. So like, I could make a dummy thing that just says all blank images as long as you have this file, or change this file. You could reuse my game engine. So that is the nice thing with building this. Anyway, let me just do RG because I accidentally added a thing. But yeah, this game1.cs is not sticking around. So yeah, we're just gonna have the base game for now. I'm going to get the stuff working, and then we'll worry about server client architecture later. I would like this to be online as well later, like I said. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build the game, and then what I can do to build the game is if we really need to design the game architecture around it, so I don't need to do a lot of refactoring later, I could just run a client server socket on the same, like, client could, it's like a single player versus Minecraft server runs, yeah, anyway. Create solution files. I spelled that right? Okay. Anyway, so first devlog done. We got some basic building going. We have the ability to import multiple packs, so I'm going to do like name what it is and then pack. You can do your own naming conventions. It literally once it's done lagging. Okay, hi, secret little kitty cat. So the magic line, this magic line here that makes this all work is this line right here. This just includes it into the assets directory. So it gets linked and stuff properly, because I had some problems on different platforms before with that. So that just makes sure it gets copied over and or linked. But yeah. Actually, that's what makes it shows up here, actually, so you can actually see which packs it's loading in. Like, if you wanted to exclude this one specifically, say, oh, I don't know, you don't want this, we could do, hang on, we could do none, exclude, I'm just going to just grab this one and let me edit that. Hang on. No, I didn't want to do that. Also, it lets you do that too. So, like, the reason I have them linked here is because you can't see them in the solution otherwise, and it lets you double-click them to edit them. Once they're created, obviously. Like, you still have to boot it up manually to do everybody. Okay, say I wanted to not have that one though, I could just do boot boot. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother. The point is, you could tell it, you could filter it. You could adjust this or filter it. I don't know, I just do it this way. So yeah, this tells MonoGame to build every MGCB file in this folder, which then these do to their own magic, and then this is here so you can see which ones you have and or edit them. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this first devlog for now. Next thing I'm doing with this project is I'm setting up the engine DI container because, no, don't edit the readme. This, and especially this, are not solid and DI compliant. So yeah, I'm going to work on that. I hope everyone enjoyed. I will see you next time. We got a nice little kitty cat drawing to the screen. Yay!